What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and today we are back, people, and don't worry, an Arsenal player has signed a new contract. Be excited, as Josh said. Is it Bukayo Saka? No, it's not Saka. Is it William Saliba? No, it's not Saliba. It's Mohamed Elneny. If you're not excited by that, then you don't understand football. The reason I put that picture up at the start is, football friend, Arteta and Elneny used to play for us, and Wenger friend. So let's give him a new contract. Friend. All right, we're going to talk about it. We'll break it down anyway, people. We will break it down. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you are well. And lots to talk about today. It'll be shameless as usual. Information and entertainment. Ant said your bench is in trouble when Elneny is in the room. They're smile merchants, people. You smile, you'll go a long way at Arsenal. You know, you will go a long way at Arsenal if you smile. Just smile, people. To be honest, I should be doing a round of applause. I'm going to do a round of applause for Mohamed Elneny. I'm one of these people, man. I respect the hustle. You know, I was about to start singing, but I think it's too early in the stream. But he is a hustler. That is a real hustler right there. How that guy's got a new contract, I will never know. I call it a sympathy contract. Him and Rob Holding, when their contracts are about to expire, they should just pull their hamstring. Do their best to pull their hamstring, and I'm sure they will continue to get new deals. It is what it is. I respect the hustle. You have to respect the hustle, people. But anyway, we will talk about that in greater detail as the show goes on. Big up to each and every one of you. Wasim's in Rio de Janeiro. 30 degrees. Geez, you're living that life. He is El Messi. If he gets a new contract, every day I'm hustling, man. I'm telling you, it's all mad, people. It's all mad. I think anybody would be smiling to get 50 grand a week. They are protecting the value of Elneny. Listen, they've got to keep the big dogs away from him. Madrid and Barca and PSG. Maybe they're sniffing around him. You know, they got to protect that value, people. And, Project Youth just got a little bit older. Anyway, let's break it down in pictures, people. You know. Don't take my word for it. If that picture does not fill you with hope, joy, and optimism, then I don't know what will. I'm still trying to figure out what the picture actually means. They say a picture says 1,000 words. I've got a few words in my head. Probably can't make 1,000, but yeah, I'm not sure. We didn't want to upset Brighton. Okay, so no Caicedo. Elneny gets a new contract. He's in his 30s. Xhaka's in his 30s. Jorginho's in his 30s. Partey's about to become 30. What the hell happened? I mean, what are we going to do? Put Edu and Arteta in midfield? Project Youth has got the oldest midfield in the Premier League. We left the Champions League 5.5 years ago with Elneny and Granit Xhaka. We're going to come back 5.5 years later with Elneny and Granit Xhaka. Now, I don't mind them being old if it's Luka Modric. But, dear, I find it difficult to explain it. They're all smiling. Of course they're smiling. He probably cannot believe what's happening. Now, people are comparing it to Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla got a 1-year extension from Arsene Wenger while he was injured as a show of faith that the football club wanted to look after him for his years of service at the football club. Let's compare those two situations. Santi Cazorla was a footballing genius. Make no mistake about that. Santi Cazorla was one of the best ball-playing centre midfielders we've ever seen at the football club, probably along with Cesc Fabregas. If you're talking about ball player, Wilshere was top quality as well at the start. Mohamed Elneny is not that. So the Cazorla-Elneny comparisons don't work for me. Some people may say, okay, similar. Not for me. That don't work. Yeah? One was a magician and one smiles a lot. There's a big difference. My question is this. And this is why I need to discuss this and break it down a little bit more, because the fan base, the majority of the fan base on Twitter, they're happy with it. This is what the football club should do. Looking after our own. classy club. All of those sorts of things is what I'm reading in the comments. I didn't even comment on Twitter because I had no words. I thought, let me save it for the show before I drop a comment on the cesspit that they call Twitter out there. Now, this is my issue. We'll be in the Champions League next season. No doubt about that. You've got Thomas Partey, who turns 30 in July. £200,000 a week. Contract expires 2025. So he's got 2.5 years left. You've got Jorginho, 31 years of age, 120 grand a week. Contract expires 2024. You've got Mohamed Elneny, nearly 31. Contract now will expire 2024. And if you read the report, they're saying he may not be fit until the start of next season, right? He's out for a long time. Mohamed Elneny, his contract, he turns 31 in July. Same month as Thomas Partey turns 30, right? You've then got Granit Xhaka, 120 grand a week. Contract expires 2024. And I don't know if anybody's seen these reports, but there are reports that Granit Xhaka's contract is going to be extended, right? So I hope you're ready for what is about to happen. Now, my question is this, and my problem is this. My problem is this. Arsenal, for me, need 2 new centre midfielders. They need a Granit Xhaka upgrade, somebody who can play in the 8 and score goals. Bellingham probably wouldn't happen. There's no way Edu could negotiate that. But maybe a Milinkovic-Savic, somebody who can score goals. The second one would have been the Caicedo, the Onana, somebody that will challenge Thomas Partey, Declan Rice possibly. So that would have been the 2 new centre midfielders. As George is saying, a new 6 and a new 8. Now, Arsenal have 4 centre midfielders on the books. Elneny new deal. Xhaka about to get a new deal according to some reports. Jorginho just signed. Thomas Partey is our main centre mid when he's fit. If you've got 4 centre mids, how can you bring 2 centre mids in? You can't. You could potentially carry 5, in my opinion. I don't think you can carry 6. 6 is too many. Party after party said he's Arsenal's James Milner. I disagree. Go and look at James Milner's trophy cabinet. James Milner's won the Champions League. James Milner's won the Premier League. James Milner's been signed for £30 million, Man City, played for Liverpool. Mohamed Elneny is not Arsenal's James Milner, respectfully. Their trophy cabinets will tell you something completely different. You know, they're not the same when people try and make that. I don't understand Elneny's new contract. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. PR, friendship, lack of accountability. The fan base won't question it. If Jorginho got a new contract at Chelsea, they would have probably complained about that. What's the point in this deal? You've had his best years. He's past his best. Let him go. Move on. Bring somebody else in. But we're giving a new contract to Elneny. We're going to give a new contract to Granit Xhaka. How can you go back into the Champions League and be serious about the Champions League with 4 30-plus-year-old midfielders? We're not talking about Luka Modric and play. I don't understand why Arsenal have done it. And people saying, you know, we're looking after him. We're paying him 2.4 million a season. He's on 2.4 million a season. He's been at the club for 7 years on 2.4 million a season. He's been looked after. People say, oh, you know, he's done this for us now. We need to look after him. He's been looked after. Realistically, he's not an Arsenal level player. He comes in for 4 or 5 league games a season, and the rest of the year he trains and plays Europa League. I just think, for me, it sends out the wrong message. And there has to be a time where you send out the right message. You've got Sambi to come back in the summer. You've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles to come back. 2 players that we're going to have to get rid of. I just don't see the point of it. I honestly... Now, a lot of people will look at it differently. A lot of people online are saying, not a problem, he's a squad player, you know, all of that sort of stuff. I just don't really see the point of the contract. I mean, look at the smile on his face. That's probably earned him the new deal. He's got the France pack on. He's got a big smile on his face, got a Rolex on his wrist by the look of it. He's living the... You're winning, bro. No, Elneny is winning. Elneny is winning. Let me tell you that. We loaned him out. I thought, yeah, that's it. We'll never see him again. He came back. He said, no problem. I'll stay here. I'll play 5 games a season. Now, people saying here, bro, he's only a squad player and he does a good job. What are you mad about? Let me give my explanation. When people say squad player, right? People always say, he's just a squad player. We've seen that every season he has to come into our team at key moments because Thomas Partey gets injured every season. Unfortunately, Thomas Partey gets injured every season, right? So like you're saying here, Snake Eye, squad players eventually end up on the pitch. And he isn't good enough to get us where we want to get to. He's been at the club for 7 years. He's had a good career at Arsenal. He's been a nice guy. He's come in when he's needed. He works hard. He's got a great attitude. But all of that doesn't win you major trophies unless you have excellent talent to go with it. Now, like people are saying there, I think Nathan just said it. We're trying to compete with Manchester City. This is a machine. I keep telling people they are a machine. Rodri, Phillips, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. This is the level of their midfielders. They got Phillips on the bench, 50 million. Gundogan on the bench at times, absolute baller. You know, these are levels you're competing with. So I don't see, as a football club, how we're going to be in the Champions League next year. We could potentially be champions. It's going to be difficult. But we could. How is it sending out a message if we've still got Xhaka, we've still got Elneny, we've added Jorginho, Partey's injury prone? That's your 4 centre midfielders. We don't want to go back in the Champions League and just do what we used to do. Get out the group, then get slapped. So, listen, for me, I wouldn't have given him a new deal. I want to see this football club go to the next level. The reason that we haven't won a Premier League title for 18 years is because I think we get too caught up in emotion and too caught up in nice guys and looking after them and all that. Pep don't care about that. Sterling, look how great Sterling was for him. Yeah, time to go, mate. Time to go. Leroy Sané, all right, cool. See you later. Aguero, could have given him a new 1-year deal. Nah, I've seen the best of you. I'll cry in the interview, but you're going. That's what Pep's about. It's ruthless at the top, people. It's ruthless. And I just think this contract, in isolation, listen, it doesn't ruin our wage budget or anything like that. But you give Xhaka a new deal as well. And you've given yourself less room to manoeuvre in the summer. Let's put a poll up. Let's get a poll up. More polls than a strip club, people. Would you have given Elneny a new contract? For me, no chance. But I want to hear your opinion. Would you have given Elneny a new contract? There you go. Let me go into his comments. Let me read out this super chat. Amaru, Big C, good deal for him, but it's a clear indication we ain't going to sign a DM in the summer. Let that make sense. We literally have 3 DMs at the moment. See, this is my concern. And let me break it down before I come into reading into what he said. This is where I'm worried. Let me give you my concern before people, some people disagree. Arsenal in the summer didn't target a centre midfielder, right? Towards the end of the window, Elneny got injured and we tried to sign Douglas Luiz. Last day of the window, panic buy, couldn't get him. We then entered the January window. Didn't seem like we wanted a centre midfielder, right? All our money was going towards Mudryk. Elneny gets the injury. Partey was having injury issues. And then they said, let's get Caicedo. We went for Caicedo. We didn't get Caicedo. Now my concern is, you get to the summer. Partey's available. Mohamed Elneny's back fit. Is he then not going to buy a defensive midfielder because you've got 2 at the football club who are now fit and available? And that is my concern. That is my concern. We only seem to be looking for a centre midfielder when one of them is injured. Now, you've got to remember, we also signed Jorginho, who is a deep-lying playmaker. So if you've got Jorginho just signed, 120 grand, Elneny new deal, Partey main man 200 grand, Xhaka about to get a new deal, where's the space to get another midfielder in there? So that is my concern. So some of you may look at it in isolation and just go, well, 50 grand a week new deal for Elneny for a year, not the end of the world. But everything at Arsenal has an after effect. They don't do things for no reason. In my eyes, because we've signed Jorginho, does that mean we don't go back in for Caicedo? Does that mean we don't go back in for Declan Rice? I don't know. That's my thought process. Unfortunately, that's the way Arsenal have made us over the years. We try and sign Benzema, we sign Lucas Perez. We try and sign Gonzalo Higuain, we end up with Danny Welbeck. No disrespect to Welbs. This is Arsenal. We try and sign N'Golo Kante, we end up with Granit Xhaka. You've seen this story before, I'm afraid, people. So I have to question everything that this football club does. Some people might think, oh, no, he's moaning again. We're top of the league. We just beat Villa. Everything's rosy in the garden. Again, focus on the bigger picture as well, people. Kevin Bean said you should want your squad players to be able to push and get into the first team. That's what raises the levels of the team. On AFTV yesterday, anyone who tuned in, the show I did with Laurie, Talk is Cheap. Now, I said at the end, I think Arsenal should aim for a physical striker in the summer. Somebody like Vlahovic, Ivan Toney, Osimhen, somebody like that. And some guy put in the comments, I forget what he said word for word, but he was like, why would a striker of real quality come to Arsenal when they know we've got Gabriel Jesus? So my response to him was, okay, so why did Mudryk go to Chelsea when he knows they've got Raheem Sterling? Why did Jadon Sancho go to Manchester United when he knows they've got Marcus Rashford? Why did Zinchenko come to Arsenal when we've got Kieran Tierney? Top football clubs who are successful don't have one player in each position of high quality and then the one behind is way behind and nowhere near the quality. You can't tell me that Ivan Toney wouldn't leave Brentford to come to Arsenal. He would. Ivan Toney would come to Arsenal if we agreed a fee with Brentford. Absolutely 100%. I'm convinced he would back himself to he would probably think in his head that he could get Jesus out of the team. But even if he can't, you're in the Champions League, you're in the Prem, you're in the FA Cup, you're in the League Cup, you're going to double his wages. You're a big club. You've got to act like a big club. I think sometimes, honestly, and I know we joke about it, but I think some of our fan base have Stockholm syndrome with this ownership. They want us to be this big giant of a football club that had these players on the background, but they don't understand what that takes. Some of them do, and we all get some things wrong, even I do. But why do people think we can't bring in another striker because we've got Gabriel Jesus? That's not how football works. You're going into the Champions League. Big players need to be on the bench. You need game changers on the bench. You pay the wages. You show the ambition. These guys will join you. So people can't think that, because we've got Jesus, we can't go and sign a top striker. We can. You need a couple of quality strikers, So, yeah, I agree that the squad players should be pushing the first team players. It should be competition. Thomas Partey has no competition at this football club. Let's be real. Neither does Saliba. Saliba plays if he's fit. Jesus would play if he was fit. Saka plays if he's fit. No competition. Nobody anywhere near them. So you need competition for places. It improves you. It keeps you on your toes. Keem said Partey to Elneny is like, your missus being a 10-10, but the side piece is a 3 out of 10. It's not worth the dear. Bro, I'm telling you. Come on, man. We need levels all over the place. MO7 said, facts, see, these owners have manipulated this fan base. On one hand, we believe, we go, listen, we're one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Great history, Wenger, Invincibles, Thierry, Dennis, Patrick, all of this great history. But then you go, right, let's buy a second striker. Oh, no, you can't buy another striker. You got Gabriel Jesus. All right, cool. Jesus just been out for 3 months. Now what? Eddie. Okay, so next season that would be Eddie for 3 months in the Champions League at the Bernabeu or at the Allianz Arena or at the Nou Camp. And I'm sorry, I don't know about you, no disrespect. I don't want to go to the Bernabeu with Elneny in midfield, with Rob Holding at centre-back, with Eddie and Nketiah up front. I just don't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back in that Champions League and get our bellies tickled like we used to. You're right, Tucky. They had Cole and York and Sheringham and Solskjaer on the bench. We had Bergkamp and Thierry with Wiltord and Kanu. Now, I know times have changed a little bit. Not everybody plays 2 up front anymore. So maybe you can't accommodate 4 strikers. But you can definitely have 2 or 3 high-quality ones. Xhaka, Elneny and Eddie could and probably will be here next season, which is worrying. They will. They will be here next season. Tony should be our main striker. Listen, if you get Ivan Toney, you say, listen, I want to bring you to Arsenal. It's probably on 50, 60 grand at Brentford. You go, right, first of all, your wages are getting doubled. Yeah. He would cost you probably 50 million. So you're getting 10% signing on fee. So there's 5 million. So there's your big house and car. There's your double your wages. You're playing for Arsenal. We're in the Champions League. You're getting in the England squad because you play for Arsenal, right? So there's your international career. And I want you to challenge Gabriel Jesus. Now, he scored more goals than him this season. He's a different kind of player. You say, listen, you two go. You go in competition for it. You may even play together. You already live in London, West London to North, not that far. He would come to us. Now, I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just saying, for example, Ivan Toney's coming to Arsenal if you go and negotiate with him. You've got Balogun as well. Listen, I think the club have got a decision to make in the summer. You've got Jesus, Balogun comes back from the loan, you've got Eddie, and I would love to see another striker come in. I highly doubt they will go for another striker, though. That's the problem. Anyway, let's not go off topic. Let's talk about this. New contract. Not Saka, not Saliba, Mohamed Elneny. Let's hear what he had to say. Are you ready for the PR, people? Mo, 30, a hugely respected and experienced member of the squad, is currently our longest serving player. Wow. Wow. Do you know what? I did not know that. Come to think of it, yeah, when I would have probably been, it would be Elneny, Holding, Xhaka, those sort of guys. Can you believe that, people? Mohamed Elneny is our longest serving player. That is unbelievable. How has he survived? But he smiles. He trains hard. Our longest serving player, having joined us from Swiss side Basel back in 2016, January. Our Egyptian international has made 155 appearances in all comps, scoring 6 goals and assisting 10 times during his 7-year period. I'm so happy. I love this club and our supporters so much, and I'll give everything to help us be the best we can be. Every day, I'm here. He's there every day, people. He turns up every day. On being our longest serving player, Mo added, it makes me so proud to have represented this amazing club since 2016. The spirit and togetherness we have in our squad right now is so positive. I'm so happy to have extended my contract. Mo's new contract, which is until June 2024, is subject to the completion of the regularity process. He said he's here every day. He turns up for work every day. Who would have thought? He gets paid £50,000 a week and he turns up every day. I mean, boy, well done. Well done, you know, well done. 2.4 million a season. There's some people online acting like we owe him this contract. We owe it him. Classy clubs, stick by him. 2.4 million a year for a handful of games. How on earth has he survived this long? I will never know. Kamal said if we don't get in a quality midfielder, I honestly don't know where our summer funds go. We've tied into average players by giving out all the contracts. And this is my concern. Rob Holdings, Xhaka's, Elneny's. You know, you don't want to tie yourself up with them guys too long. Zubir, Arsenal more likely to sign an 8 who can play at 6'2", maybe a Rice or Milinkovic. They will get one mid in for sure. I agree. I think we will get one centre mid in. Personally, I would have liked to have seen 2. But we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it, which for me, I think is a shame. But listen, it is what it is. What can we do about it, people? What can we do about it? So Elneny gets a new deal. He's not far off that testimonial, is he? He's probably going to end up making that testimonial somehow, which is unbelievable. When we signed him, I remember thinking, this guy won't be at the club more than 2 years. I just don't see how he survives. He's limited in what he does. Yeah, he works hard, but I don't know how he stays at this club for a long time. To think that he's now, by the time this contract finishes, you're looking at that'll be 8 years at the football club. He will be just 2 years away from a testimonial, which I think is incredible. I think is absolutely incredible. What makes it even more interesting is that, did you know, people, that Mohamed Elneny and Granit Xhaka are currently doing their coaching badges. They're doing their UEFA B badges to become coaches. Now, this is something similar to what Arteta was doing when he was at Arsenal. He started doing his badges towards the end. The club were giving him new contracts. And then I think the funny thing about Arteta did his coaching badges at Arsenal, then left and went to Manchester City because Pep made him the assistant manager, which I don't think Wenger was going to give him a role that high. So they're probably going to keep Xhaka, keep Elneny. They'll be squad players. They'll smile a lot and they'll become coaches at the football club. So listen, it is what it is. It's a friendly group, innit? It's a friendly group there at Arsenal. But I'm just not sure friendly groups are overly successful. But we'll see. We'll see, people. We'll see. He won't play much, but still, does he block the space of somebody else? Snake Eye said, I would turn up every day too for 50k a week. Exactly. It's not worth applauding, is it? Big up, bro. Big up Eric Ross for becoming a member on the channel. Member stream tonight at 6:15. We're going to do the member stream. 6:15. I was going to do it at 6, but I'm not going to be back in time. So we'll do it at 6:15. Get it done before the Champions League games. So if you're a member of a certain level, get yourselves on tonight. Tell me what you think about Elneny's new contract. Hold back the excitement, people, when you come on. Listen, as I always say, to be an Arsenal fan, to be a fan of any football club, you do not have to agree with everything that the club does. Don't let people come out and try and question your support for the club because you don't agree with everything the football club does. You know, bun them. Just stand by your beliefs, people. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry, man. I'm not jumping around for joy for Mohamed Elneny signing a new contract. I refuse to buy into that. You know, they drop new merch and they give Elneny a new contract. Where's Saka's new deal? Where's Saliba's new deal? Where's the big boy signings in the summer? But listen, it's not worth a meltdown. We're not shouting. We're not going crazy. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm happy about it because I don't see where that contract really takes you. I don't really know what it does for us as a football club. But hey, it is what it is, people. Big up Earl in the chat who said, big up Big C in the community. I've had to riot and leave my team meeting to catch you live. He's singing again. You know me, people. I can't help it. Vibes all the time. I wash dishes 12 hours a day for 50k a week. You know what I mean, J.O.? Nathaniel said this club doesn't want to win anything. They are just one big happy family. It seems to be that sort of vibe at the moment. I just seen a thing online. I know we're going way off topic here, but Newcastle have announced that Karius, the goalkeeper, has broken his hand. And Newcastle may have to sign a goalkeeper as an emergency. Dubravka is cup-tied. He played for Manchester United earlier in the competition. Nick Pope is suspended. He obviously got the red card against Liverpool. And now Karius, who is their third-choice goalkeeper, has broken his hand. He'll require surgery. He'll be out for the rest of the season, which leaves Newcastle without a first-choice goalkeeper for the cup final on the weekend. They only have a youth team goalkeeper available and have requested an emergency signing. Check this. The story goes even crazier. They could sign Ben Foster, who retired at the start of the season, to concentrate on his YouTube channel, the Cycling GK. He refused a move to Newcastle in the summer after not wanting to commit to travelling from the Midlands. That is crazy. Man's doing YouTube videos. He could be playing the cup final on Sunday. It's all mad. That would be great content, by the way, on his channel. Wow, what a story that is. Bet Man United fans, they're probably delighted with that. I think they'll beat Newcastle anyway, but who are they going to have in goal? They don't have a goalkeeper. Anyway, feel bad for Newcastle. Ben Foster incoming. Man are saying Karius broke his hand on purpose. Where's the youth goalkeepers? Well, I suppose they had 3 goalkeepers, didn't they? YouTube professional footballer. Big up man like big up Ben Foster, man, if he gets that opportunity. I have to say, I think it's ridiculous that and Amo said it here. Nick Pope gets sent off in the Prem, but he's suspended for the League Cup. That makes no sense to me. You know, I think that's really harsh. If you get, and yet Gamirez gets sent off in the League Cup semi-final, but he can play in the League Cup final. It's crazy. Anyway, let me not talk about it so much. Caballero, yeah, they're going to have to look at... It's not going to be a great goalkeeper, whoever it is anyway, so I think Man United will win that. Let me end this poll on Mohamed Elneny. Would you have given Elneny a new contract? 70% say no, 30% say yes. I mean, listen, it is what it is. He's not going anywhere. Don't go anywhere. He will be here for another 12 months, so we'll have to see how many games he gets, but I think he's out for the rest of the season. So I don't think we're going to see him the rest of this season anyway. So we'll have to see on that one. Let's move on. Let's move on, people. Let's talk a couple of potential new signings. Now, this story, again, is a funny one. And this doesn't surprise me. Now, you've probably seen this in the title. We're being linked with another 30-plus-year-old player. The midfield could get even older, people. Manchester City could be willing to let captain Ilkay Gundogan leave for free in the summer, with the Premier League champions unwilling to hand the midfielder a 2-year contract. But guess who's willing to possibly give him a 2-year contract? Only the mighty tabletop in Arsenal. According to this report in the Mirror, Mikel Arteta is a big fan of Ilkay Gundogan and would be considering bringing him in this summer. Now, Gundogan currently is on £140,000 a week. He's 32 years of age, just turned 32, and he is a free agent in the summer. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy about this because, again, it could be paper talk nonsense. I like to respond more to facts than rumours. There could be nothing in this. He was linked with a move to Barcelona in January, but apparently Barcelona are going to have to sell players before they can bring players in. Now, the thing that worries me about these kind of rumours with Arsenal is, like, I look at this, and even though it could be paper talk, it's the kind of deal that you can see happening at Arsenal. And now, I think Gundogan's a top player. I got to be honest, I've always been a big fan of Gundo. I think he's massively underrated and always has been. Top player, 2-footed, reads the game well, and has won multiple trophies at Manchester City. He's a fantastic player. The problem is, he's not the kind of midfielder that we need. You know, I know he's a bit more attacking than Jorginho, but similarities, 31, 32... doesn't run that much. Okay, he can get into the penalty area and get you a goal. But again, he's 32 years of age, people, man. If we're trying to really upgrade, I mean, he turns 33 in October. Season starts in August. So within 2 months, he becomes 33. It's a tough one, this, you know, because I'm a big fan of Gundo. And I could see Arsenal going for it. All right, let's get the second poll up. Would you take Gundogan on a free in the summer? And this is what I mean. This is my point, right? This is why I'm saying, for me, you don't need Elneny, because Gundogan is better than Elneny. Gundogan is better than Xhaka. If you got rid of Elneny and brought in Gundogan as your experienced player, then I'd be like, okay, he's old, but he is better than the guy. But to me, it's just you're adding him to the wrong group of midfielders. That would be my problem with Gundo. I like Gundo, on a free for a year, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But when you've just signed Jorginho, who's 31, you've given Elneny, who's nearly 31, a contract, and Xhaka's 31 going to get a new contract, then I don't know. I'd rather get somebody younger. If we had a different group of midfielders, I would take him. But with this group of midfielders, I wouldn't take him personally. 32 years of age, turns 33 in October, 140 bags a week. Listen, it's mirror football. Nothing there says it's gospel. It could just be hearsay. But it's the kind of deal that would not surprise me if it happened. He's won multiple trophies. He's a leader, Manchester City captain. Arteta's worked with him. It's a free. It works perfectly with the Kroenkes. No major transfer fee. Are you telling me you couldn't see Arsenal doing that deal? I could see them doing it all day long. And that is the problem. Amo said Edu can buy a player only on the approval of Arteta. No player comes to the club without Arteta saying yes. Going from the youngest Premier League squad to the oldest. Would rather Caicedo. Ty said our midfield's supposed to be the engine room in the squad. Young and full of energy, the bare minimum. Rudolph said with Champions League, we need winners like him. And listen, I hear you. If we had Partey and Jorginho, and or let's say you got Partey and Jorginho, and you added Gundogan, and then you added Declan Rice and maybe Caicedo or something like that, I would be all over it. But having 4 30-plus-year-olds and adding a 33-year-old, I don't think it makes sense. If you bring him in, I think you've got to get rid of Xhaka. I say Xhaka because Elneny's got the new deal. Partey's not going to leave. Jorginho's just signed. I don't think you can add him to 4 30-plus-year-olds. Big up Richard Reed, who said, big up Big C. The Kroenkes have short arms and long pockets. I'm telling you, bro. They're moving like Jordan Pickford with the dinosaur arms. He is a winner, says Andre. He is, no doubt about it. Would he have the hunger, though, man? Would he have the hunger? Does he have the legs? Age is nothing these days, Big C. Players like Jose Font's still balling. Listen, I don't know if Jose Font's ever really been balling like that. I know he won the league in France, which was good for him, and he played for Portugal. But we are still aware of the fact that you need. If you look at the Prem's one of the most mobile leagues in world football. Gundogan is playing in a team that is very unique in that Man City almost let the ball do the work. So I feel they don't have to run as much as a lot of teams. Against Forest at the weekend, they had 81% possession. You don't have to do that much running when you've got 81% of the ball. So for me, yeah, using Jose Font doesn't really swing it. I can't lie, Jay. It doesn't swing it. Jashar said, big up Curtis. Gundogan's injury record isn't great. I wouldn't be keen. Retirement home FC. Get somebody younger, more mobile, somebody that can build with the players we've got. I agree with the statement when people are saying you need winners. You go in the Champions League, it's a different ball game. I don't want a team full of babies, but I also don't want a team full of pensioners. Let's find the balance. What Arsenal need to do now is Arsenal need to start signing players in their prime. Or you don't want to buy a load of players who are past their best, who are only going to go downhill slowly. Arsenal need to be signing 25, 26-year-olds. Players are at the top of their game. We signed Thomas Partey when he was in the peak of his career. He struggled at Arsenal with injury, but there's no doubt in his quality when he's on the pitch. Jesus is in his prime, 25, 26. He can probably even get a little bit better. Zinchenko can get better. Saka can get better. I don't want too many players where it's like, yeah, you're past your best and now it's about the slow decline and we're never going to be able to sell you and you're on big wages and you're going to see out your whole contract because there's no way you're going to go. Yeah, we don't want dad bods all over the place, you know what I mean? We need some hungry players taking us back into the Champions League, man. X-Cool said, big up Curtis, but I just wish to get your thoughts on this. Premier League or keep Saka? So what? So you mean what? Win the Premier League or keep Saka? And that's a good question, by the way. That is a very good question because I've got to take the Prem. But I feel horrendous for saying that. Of course, that's a good question. It's a good question. The Prem's more important than any player. So, yeah, I'm lifting the trophy. It's sad. I'm lifting the trophy and then we got to take 100+ million off someone for Saka. So, yeah, I got to take the Prem. I've got to take the Prem because there's no guarantees you win the Prem with Saka. So, yeah, great question, by the way. Curtis, just because Xhaka and Element sign new contracts doesn't mean we can't sell them this summer. Could mean we get money for them. Everyone moans when we run down contracts and get nothing. Now, I understand your point. Totally agree. But look at the players that you're talking about. Now, just to bear in mind, Granit Xhaka went to the World Cup in 2018, was it? 2018? Had a really good World Cup. Came back. The best offer we got for him was 12 million from Mourinho. Right? Couldn't sell him. He was 28 at the time. His contract's gone up and he's now 30. There's no way anyone's buying Xhaka for decent money. Right? Elneny had a loan in Turkey and didn't sign for that club. No one's buying Mohamed Elneny unless we're letting him go for peanuts. So that contract, we're moaning when Aaron Ramsey's going on a free when he's probably worth 30 odd million. We're moaning when Alexis is going for free when he's worth 90 million. You know, we're not complaining when Elneny's leaving on a free. So, whilst I understand your point, yeah, give them contracts. Those guys are not getting sold for anything. Yeah, or nothing substantial. Buy high, sell low is the Arsenal way. Who wants Elneny? Let's be real. Let's just be honest. Onana or Caicedo? I'll be honest with you. That Onana guy, right? I haven't seen enough of him. I haven't seen him play enough times to know whether how has he been playing all season. What I saw of him against Arsenal was ridiculous. He was unplayable. 2020 Euros, sorry, yeah, not 2018, but he was unbelievable against us. But I don't know if he's at that level consistently enough. So I like his physical presence. Though he's 6'4", 6'5", but I don't know how good he is. Ward-Prowse, yeah, I mean, that'll be an interesting one. Southampton, I think, will get relegated this summer. He's their captain, he's their leader, he's a superb set-piece taker, probably the best in the division. 28 years of age. I don't know. I think, again, I would go for somebody else. I wouldn't be desperate to get Ward-Prowse. I like Onana, I do. He's a monster. But I just haven't seen enough of him to know how good he truly is. So, Gundogan. Let's end the poll on Gundo. As I said, for me, a very talented footballer. I just think it's 3 years too late for me. With the players that we've got around him. If we didn't have as many old centre mids, I would take Gundogan on a free for a year. But with 4 30-plus-year-olds, you put in he would be our oldest centre midfielder, and he is injury prone. 60% say yes, 40% say no, so more of you would take Gundo. Ward-Prowse is close to beating Beckham's free kick record. Cliffo said, you watch, we'll get Gundogan and Tielemans and not Rice because it's easy. Both free agents, club will be all over it. I think Arteta will go for Zubimendi in the summer. James Ward-Prowse is a Europa League player. Rudy said, see, my theory with the whole letting players leave on a free is that this club, the Kroenkes, are so cheap they avoid giving new extended contracts because all new contracts have to be on better terms. Yeah, it's true. And listen, they need to get Saka and Saliba tied down to new deals. Let's talk again about this man. I mean, I'm almost bored of talking about this guy already. And that is Declan Rice. Wrong story. Wrong story. Hold that one. Don't go anywhere. Let's talk about Declan Rice again. Rumours even going around today that he's agreed terms. This is how in-depth people are going with this story now. Sources with an understanding of Declan Rice's situation have revealed Arsenal are in sustained contacts with the players' representatives ahead of a summer deal and are willing to hand him a long-term contract worth in excess of £200,000 a week. And it's believed Arsenal will be willing to pay about £80 million to bring him to the club. Now, we have the conversation pretty much every day. I'm almost bored about talking about him. We're being linked with him so much that it makes me think we won't sign him, because the players that we're most heavily linked with usually don't end up coming to the club. Declan Rice. David Moyes said in his press conference last week, for anybody to get Declan Rice, they would have to at least match the British transfer record for an English player, which is 100 million for Jack Grealish. Now, I think you know my thoughts on Declan Rice. Declan overpriced, says Anthony. I think he's a solid centre mid. I think there's a heck of a lot of English and Premier League tax attached to him. Don't get me wrong. If Arsenal signed him, I wouldn't complain, because I do think he's better than some of the midfielders we've got. And he's at an age that you can build, and he's a leader. He's a potential captain. So I'm not putting him down and saying he's a meaty baller, because he is a good player. But he's not £80 million plus, 200 grand a week plus centre midfielder, in my opinion. I think you could go outside of the Premier League, or maybe even in the Premier League, and get somebody as good as him, maybe better for less. The problem is, and this is the problem, you have to have English players in your squad. You know, I think it's 5 in your squad you have to have, or is it 8? 5 or 8 in your 25. And, you know, you look in the Arsenal squad now, I suppose we've got Ramsdale, we got Ben White. Who else have we got? Smith Rowe. We got Saka. There's 4. Eddie at the moment. Obviously, he didn't choose to play for Ghana. So we've got 4, I suppose, a couple of youngsters on the bench. But I don't know, Holding, maybe they're looking to get another English player in. I definitely think Arteta's a fan of him. And I definitely think he wants to get him in because of that leadership quality as well. As I said, Declan Rice, if you look at his stats, he plays a lot of football. And I always say on this channel, availability is the best ability. 36 games last season out of 38, 32 the year before. The year before he played all 38, and the year before that he played 34. They're the kind of numbers you need to see. You know, in 4 seasons, he's missed 12 games. In 4 seasons, 12 games he's missed. Thomas Partey missed 14 games in the Premier League just last season. So I think this is where the problem is coming in. But the value, there's no value at 80 million plus, in my opinion. We shouldn't be paying that for him. But the market's so inflated, somebody will pay that for him. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody pays more than that. Rice has the athleticism to play the lone 6 in the Prem. He's one of them players, Declan Rice, I'm going to be honest, is that we probably won't truly know how good he is until he goes to that next level. Whether he comes to Arsenal, he was always linked with Chelsea, he's a boyhood Chelsea fan, maybe Man United, I don't know. You find out how good he truly is when he steps up to the next level. I suppose what I would give him some credit for, I think he started every game for England in the World Cup. When you put the likes of Bellingham, I know we don't have Bellingham, but you put better players around him, I think he does look like a better midfielder. So I can see why Arsenal want him. I just don't think he's worth 80 plus million pound. But the market is so inflated, and the fact he is English, the fact that he is 24 years of age, he's got years ahead of him. He's been captain of West Ham this year. There are a lot of reasons why Arteta would want him. He can play most weeks. He's a captain. He's physical. He's strong. He can tackle. And Arteta probably looks at him as well and thinks he can coach him and improve him. So, would I take him at Arsenal? I would. I don't want people to think that I'm saying I wouldn't. I would take Declan Rice at Arsenal. I'm not convinced that he's worth anywhere near the valuations that are being put on him. So we'll have to see. Anthony said Milinkovic-Savic price has dropped. He's out of contract next year. Isn't signing a new deal. Wants to leave. We could get him for a lot cheaper, but still need a 6. Yeah. I mean, Rice and Milinkovic-Savic, that would be the kind of summer that would excite me. You got the attacking one. You got the defensive one. Partey's there as well. You got Xhaka, Jorginho, Elneny. But you can't have... I don't see how the squad could carry that many centre mids, which is why I think we'll only sign one. My worry and my concern is, a few of you have said it in the comments today, is that Youri Tielemans will be a free. We've been linked with him for a long time. Him on a free is going to be tempting for Edu. Easy deal to negotiate. Gundogan's a free. Worked with Arteta. Out of contract. Easy deal to get done again. And Edu seems to like getting easy deals done, you know. So yeah, we'll take Rice and Milinkovic-Savic or Caicedo or Onana. But the reality, it wouldn't surprise you if it was Youri Tielemans and Ilkay Gundogan, both free agents, both easy to negotiate. So, listen, it's an interesting one. Declan Rice, it won't stop. It won't stop. At the start, I thought, is this just PR? Because we didn't get Caicedo, they started throwing the Declan Rice story all over the place. But the funny thing is, last year, after we failed to get Vlahovic, they started to constantly link us with Gabriel Jesus. And in the summer, we actually got Gabriel Jesus. So, listen, I think there's something in it, but I don't think we'll get a free hit at him. I can imagine Man United would look at him. I can imagine Chelsea will still look at him. Maybe other clubs as well. So, we'll have to see. Smokey said Rice is always West Ham's best player whenever he plays. Yeah, he is. The standard isn't that high at West Ham, if we're being honest. A lot of their good players, Paqueta and players like that, they haven't played well that this season, really. Rice, Caicedo and Odegaard, they're the kind of levels, you know. And then you've got, obviously, Partey. They can fight for a place. What about Ruben Neves? I like Ruben Neves. I would take him. English tax scares me, says Birdman settings. Personally, I would go raid Brighton and take 2 or 3 midfielders off them. Listen, McAllister, is it? Good player. Caicedo. They've got ballers at Brighton, but we don't want to ruin our friendship with them, you know? No Sambi Shaw redemption. I mean, the name is outrageous. The slander is unbelievable. But you get away with it, as I always say, because I love that picture of Alexis and Ozil. I was at that game at West Ham, and what a day that was. Alexis Sanchez hat-trick. Oxlade-Chamberlain in centre mid, man. That I walked away from that stadium that day thinking, this boy Alexis is one of the best players I've ever seen play for Arsenal. Honestly, he was, that day, I'm sure you all remember the game where he chips the keeper and stuff. I was like, this guy is phenomenal. Done the fake shot on the goalkeeper and just dinked it over him. I said, nah, I'm done. I walked out of the stadium like, I'm done. I'm finished. This guy's a joke. And then his contract was winding down as well. You should do a fan gathering if we win the league. 100%. That's happening. That's happening regardless whether we win the league or not. Alexis was a different breed, man. Tucky said, I got married that day, 5-0. What a wedding present. I remember the Ox performance against Liverpool before his move. Yeah, that was snaky. That was a snaky one. Alexis would score 30 with this team. He probably would. Final bit of news before we move on and we get out of here. We're approaching 1 hour. And that is regarding old sick note himself. Arsenal will assess Thomas Partey this week and continue to be cautious over his involvement, with the timescale tight on whether he can be in the squad to face Leicester. The club will not rush him back, with Jorginho's arrival easing the pressure to do so. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Arsenal next season need to stop relying on Thomas Partey. It's as simple as that. We are foolish if we rely on him next season. Having him at the club, playing him when he's fit and available, no problem. He's a top player. There's no doubt about it. Relying on him, thinking that you can expect to have him on the pitch most weeks, would be absolutely insane. This guy is not reliable. He misses too many football matches. I don't know what the problem is since he's come to England, but he can't cope with it. 14 games in the league missed last season. 14 games missed the year before. He's already missed 3 in this little spell now. He's probably missed a few at the start of the season. I mean, he's played 18 Premier League games so far this season, and we've played 23. So he's missed 5. and he's probably not going to play on the weekend. So that's 6. So you're already talking 34 games missed in 3 seasons. Declan Rice has missed 12 in 4 seasons. You can't rely on him. You cannot rely on this guy. We are insane if we go into the Champions League next year, building our midfield around him. You can't. If he's there, it's a bonus. You play him, but have somebody else in mind. I think his body is made of Indomie noodles. You're not wrong, man. Thomas part-time Partey. We need a bone density scan. I'm telling you, man. Snake Eyes, deal with that, bro. We need to know. Big up the community. Big up Big C, says TH. Mason Mount would be a smart sign-in for real, like Rashford before that sick form. Mason Mount, year left on his contract, hasn't committed to Chelsea yet. Is he somebody you would consider? I've seen a few people putting that. He's being linked with a move to Liverpool. But yeah, would you take Mason Mount at Arsenal? But I think Chelsea would ask for a lot of money for him, even with a year left. Time to sell, get Rice or Camavinga. You'd be lucky to sell him. 200 bags, 30, injury prone. Who's going to buy him? You know, would you buy a car with a dodgy engine? You wouldn't. I'd take Mason Mount, says Cole. Patrick, Big C, would you opt for... Who would you opt for at 80 million, Rice or Caicedo? Because you say they are not worth that valuation. No, they're not worth it. But you know the thing, and it might sound a little bit hypocritical. I don't think Declan Rice is worth 80 million, but if we signed him, I'd be happy with the signing. I do think he's a good player. If we sign Caicedo for 80 million, I don't think he's worth it, but I do think he's a good player. There isn't value in the market anymore. So getting somebody who is worth it doesn't often happen anymore. But it's just about getting quality. I'd take either one of them. Or Onana, I'd take either one of them. I want somebody who's got power and physical presence, who adds something that I think we're lacking, you know. That ability to bully teams sometimes when you know, the going gets tough a little bit. Pace and Pound, you wouldn't want him. Marcus Thuram, I believe he's out of contract this summer. Tall striker, French international. Scored a few goals in the last year or so. I think he's at Mönchengladbach, son of the famous Lilian Thuram, who personally was one of my favourite defenders growing up. Marcus Thuram, Borussia Mönchengladbach, 11 goals, 3 assists in 20 appearances. He's 6'4", and he's a free agent in the summer. Played for France in the World Cup. He's another one who could be available. Snake Eye said, we need a better recruiting and a scouting team. How is a club like Brighton doing it? We really need to get our acts together. Scouts better save money. The only thing I would say in defence of Arsenal, see, I do defend them sometimes, is that if Arsenal sign some of the players that Brighton sign, our fan base are going to turn their nose up at some of them signings and go, what? We've signed Caicedo for 3 million from South America who we've never heard of him. You know, the fans are going to... Brighton can do that. Brighton can go and buy 5 unknown players, throw all of them into their team. 3 of them will probably be a hit. 2 of them won't. We'll all hype up the ones that do well and they'll sell them for 50 million each. We can't do that. We're going into the Champions League. We're not going to accept that. We need ready-made quality. That you know, you might get away with one of them, a Marquinhos or a Kivior or you know, somebody like that. But if you look at the majority of our team, they're reasonably established players who cost decent money. Ramsdale cost 30 mil, played in the Prem. Zinchenko and Tierney, 25 mil for Tierney, 35 for Zinny. Gabriel, 35 million. Saliba, 27. Tomiyasu, I suppose, I mean, he was still reasonably established. He cost nearly 20 million. From Syria, Ben White, 50 million. Xhaka, 35. Partey, 45. Odegaard, 35. Jesus, 45. Martinelli was a diamond in the dirt. That was definitely a good one. So you can get them, and obviously Saka's come through the youth system, so we can get the odd one, but I think now the fans wouldn't accept that as much nowadays, at a club like us as well. Man out of time said, I completely disagree. Wenger did this back in the day during the 90s and 2000s. A lot of transfers. But you know the biggest difference, bro? Look at the time frame you're talking about. Money wasn't the dominant factor in the late 90s. Early 2000s, it started to become more prominent when Abramovich turned up. What big club does that right now and has had major success with it? Now, people say Klopp, but Klopp bought Alisson. Klopp bought Van Dijk. He bought Salah. He bought Fabinho. You know, he bought top players. So that Wenger thing, that's the reason Wenger eventually had to leave, because trying to do that didn't work anymore. He knew about the untapped talent in the French market, and he was able to manipulate it and work it, you know, and get Vieira's out of AC Milan's bench, get Thierry Henry from the wing and turn him into a monster. It doesn't happen really that often at the top clubs anymore, so I don't think you can get away with it. Mr. Diamond I signed Mavropanos, yeah, and then we got rid of him. Connor said, sorry, could you just run the title past me, or am I on... Listen, bro, Elneny new deal, and they're looking at Gundogan on a free. But Elneny is factual. Gundogan could be paper talk. 1 year contract for Elneny, signed, sealed, and delivered. Nicolo Zaniolo, 35 million, bro. Buy smart, not old. Only thing with that Zaniolo is he's injured. He's had a bad injury, I think, and Mourinho doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of him. Seems like they were willing to get rid of him, so I'm not overly hyped. He's not a bad player. Man out of time's come back. He said, those are fair points. I will concede that. Fair enough. Fair enough. 1-0 to Curtis. You know, see you tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. Try and equalise. Wenger made George Weah a world beater. I want Mitoma, Onana, Osimhen, but would take Ferguson. I mean, Mitoma, Onana, and Osimhen would be an unbelievable window, but you're looking at 200 million for those three. Osimhen's 100 million by himself. Oh yeah, you're right. Zaniolo, he went to I think he went to Galatasaray before their window closed. Bro, Chiesa is playing decent well after the ACL, already assisted. Listen, I was a massive fan of Chiesa. I thought he was a potential world beater before that injury. But it's a case of, I suppose, how he recovers from it. And it sounds like he started well. I think Juventus will have to offload players in the summer, because it doesn't look like they're even going to make the Europa League. And they've got big financial problems there. So, yeah. But yeah, that's it for today, people. That is it for today. I will be back on at 6:15 tonight with the member stream. Get yourself involved. Give me your points of view on Elneny. I think this is the first member stream. No. This is the first one we've had in the last couple of weeks. So we'll talk about the Man City game and all those games and stuff like that. I may be back on later with Liverpool Real Madrid. Keep your notification bell on. After the members stream, I've just got to do something quick. If I can get back, we may do the Champions League watch along as well. It's 8 o'clock kickoff, Liverpool Madrid. But anyway, 6:15 member stream, possibly back just before 8. And we'll be back tomorrow as well, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Elneny signed a new contract. He is not going anywhere. Any chance of getting Saka and Saliba sorted? See you all soon, people. Bless.